Hi, everyone. It's Tracy Root with the Gather community again, and I am here with a super, super cool lady. Samantha Deaux is the founder of Nolan Creative, and I met Samantha probably a couple of years ago during the COVID situation. And what's been great is over time, we've just, I think, had this mutual admiration and respect, but now we've really had a chance to get to know each other. And she's one of our latest Gather community creators. So I'm super thrilled to introduce her to you today. Samantha, I know where you live and what you do, but you know what? People watching this video may not know much about you yet. So let's tell them. Introduce yourself.
Okay, sure. As you said, my name is Samantha Ledoux, and I am the owner of Nolan Creative. And Nolan Creative is a brand and website design and development company. And we are located in Nashville, Tennessee, about 20 minutes outside of Nashville, in a place called Nolansville, hence why
Hence the
it's
name.
Nolan. Yeah. So,
And
so
you know what? I didn't know that for a while. So I'm like,
yeah.
oh, well, that's where that name came from.
Yeah, so as you can tell, I am not from the United States originally. I am from the United Kingdom and have been in the United States now probably around about 22 years. And we've our first stop was Washington State, and then we were there for probably around about 20 years, 19, 20 years, and then decided to move to the Nashville area because our children are like highly involved in music and wanted to give them that opportunity to pursue that. So that's why we're here. And then I spent probably around about 20 plus years in the creative industry, mainly in the corporate space, corporate America space. I've held positions in marketing, creative direction, photography. Actually have a part of my degree is in photography and digital media arts. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me. I'm married, been married now for almost 24 years, and my parents live with us as well. They're from the UK, and then they decided to come over too. So we all live in a lovely house in Nolansville, Tennessee.
I love that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that your parents live with you. How lovely for
yeah,
them to have come over and you get to be with them. I'm sure that, you
absolutely.
know, and being in where you're at in Tennessee, you have a house hopefully that's big enough that everyone is
Yes,
happy with their space. Because, you know, here in
absolutely.
California, that can be a real challenge if people have
Right.
parents moving in. It's like, you know, you end up sleeping on the sofa or something. Um,
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that you were a photographer, that was part of your origin story.
Yeah.
Do you still do photography for clients at all? I saw that you
I
were doing some
don't.
art for clients the other day, which was interesting, and we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I do have quite the artistic background. So I do love to draw and paint. I have done that for a long time, ever since I was in high school. Um, Also an avid vocalist, as you know. So that was my first professional career, was actually as a professional vocalist when I left school.
How fun.
And but yes, photography was a huge part of my life, definitely when our children were little. And one of the things was I was going to go back to school and get my degree in photography to actually open a photography business.
Mhm.
So I did have that mindset at that time. And then because the market in our area was so overly saturated with photographers at that particular
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
ended up going into a more creative role in the corporate arena. And that kind of like led me to where I am today. I primarily focus on WordPress is my thing, and been doing that since that kind of came out at the end of, I don't know, the beginning of 2000s, end of like 1990s.
Yeah, yeah.
And have like a love for that, and learned a lot by trial and error, following a lot of creative people, and yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of like experimenting and stuff. So
I think that's really interesting because the folks who work doing websites in WordPress, and I'm a nerd on the side. People know me for, being able to handle myself, but WordPress is not something I can handle. It is a real set of skills and talents to be able to be proficient and highly, highly creative in that environment. I know when I was first starting my businesses and looking at different website opportunities, it was not something I looked at because I couldn't handle it. And I was, solo figuring things out on my own. So tell me who it is that you typically are working for. I know that part of your story is you left corporate and then now they're a client, which is
Yes.
great because, they saw your value and you just wanted to restructure how you live your life, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
We love that. But outside of like that big corporate machine, who else are you working with as clients in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, definitely my job, my corporate job, the last job that I had held for 8 years, they are now a client. And that business is an association management company, and they are out of Washington State. And I technically manage all of their like web design, website management, and the little creative team that we have there. It was just me about 7 years ago, and then that grew into having a lovely creative team that they have now.
Nice.
So with that, I do a lot of nonprofit website design, associations like trade associations,
Okay.
medical association website design and management for them. And then let's see what other clients we got going on. I have Chick-fil-A Murfreesboro, which is
Awesome.
local to us here. That's
That's a big
one of their
deal.
franchises. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a great project to work on. I'm finishing that one up here soon. And then another project that I'm still working in right now is a private lodge that's just been built in North Carolina for business retreats. And
Ooh,
so, yeah, just
I
doing
need to
their
know
website.
about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you. I'll give you all the details
Yeah,
for
give me
sure.
all the details on that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The photography is beautiful. Lots of video and lots of fun overlays in the background of some of their sections. And that's actually what I was doing some of the artwork for.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. I
Yeah,
remember now. Mhm.
yeah, on my art on that I posted. So that, and then a few other things in the pipeline we've got coming up is probably another cardiology business in California, and a law firm in Washington State as well, in Seattle. So yeah, I also do management for a couple of real estate agents for their website, and which, as you know, WordPress needs to be maintained and all of that.
Right. Well, and I would
And
imagine for real
yeah,
estate agents, that's a lot of upkeep because they're
yeah,
constantly churning, what they're talking about. Things
yeah,
come up and sell and market changes
yeah,
frequently and all of that.
yeah,
I mean, so okay, so this is really interesting to me. You have talked about clients all across the country.
yes.
How are they finding out about you?
so so definitely I've been very blessed to have worked with the company in Washington State for the past 8 years, and I did get a couple of referrals from them. And so it's definitely word of mouth, networking, and
Yes.
just going out and talking to people, and just trying to be present and as being authentic as I can be.
Yeah.
So I just think that makes a huge difference on gaining clients and how I get clients. And yeah, so that's kind of where things are at right now. I started full-time freelance January of this year, but which is fantastic, and I'm really proud of myself for that. But yeah, so it's going really well, and I'm excited to see what the future holds, and all the potential clients that we've got coming this year. So
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like you're really flourishing. Why this January? Like what made you make that final decision to finally cut that tie officially? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are still working their job, or they, you know, I mean, when I started coaching, it was on the side, and I just said to myself, what do I want my life to look like? And it didn't include that job.
Yeah.
And was able, you know, I was very fortunate that I had the means to be and a plan that included a way to make that happen in the short term. But, you know, it's been a little bit of a journey for you to get to that point. Tell me about
Yeah.
making that decision and how that happened for you.
Yeah, so I don't make decisions lightly. It takes me a little bit to kind of figure out, you know, those decisions and where they're going. And one, I wanted to make sure that financially we were going to be okay if I did, you know, kind of jump ship and what
Mhm.
that would look like.
Yeah.
And so that obviously the whole money piece was a big deal. Um,
Did you have help with figuring that out, or is that
I
something that
did.
oh, that's
I
nice.
did. Yeah, my husband's very supportive, and which I think, and family was very supportive, which is like a huge deal when you decide to become an entrepreneur and you're not in that safe space.
Yeah.
But I actually, well, I thought to myself when we moved here from Washington State, and my current position there, decided to keep me on remote. It was just kind of a natural progression that I would end up being like an independent contractor for them.
Yeah.
And then it was just about ripping the band-aid off and being confident in asking that question. Don't get me wrong, I was nervous. I was worried that, you know, that they were going to turn me down, and I would felt a little stuck, I would say, being in that, you know, in that
Yeah.
mindset,
Right. Because you
not
went from
necessarily in that job.
employee
Yeah,
to independent contractor, like, and
yeah,
they were cool with that because like that was that first step. But to actually say, you know, you hired me as an independent contractor, but now I'm actually like an agency
yeah,
that you need to hire as a company, not just a person.
right, right. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah, it was an interesting transition, and I'm just thankful that um my boss, my client now, um just believed in me and you
Yeah.
know, trusted that, you know, everything was going to be fine, and still wanted my, you know, services on that basis as
Yeah.
well. So I'm which I am very thankful for. That doesn't always happen that way.
Right. Absolutely. And you know, what that helps you to hold on to as you start your own company is that you have that value to
Yeah,
offer. They believe in you and other people will too. And I think
yeah,
for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's something that I realized a couple of years ago. I was like, you know what? My old company used to pay me this much money every year to do my job that I was very good at. I'm also very good at this job, and why do I feel like I'm not worth making that kind of money now
yeah,
that I'm asking for it versus them giving it to me?
absolutely.
It was a
Yeah,
huge mindset shift in my own value or worth. I'm not sure which word it is more appropriate, but that's a big thing for any entrepreneur, is to recognize that it's not just that they want to hire me, it's that I have this inherent value already.
right,
And,
right.
you know, and then we figure out who's the right fit to
Yeah,
to do work for.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
love that.
Which, you know, I'm grateful for that, you know, because it gives me real perspective on the projects that I want to work with too. You know,
Nice.
and not have to worry about, oh my gosh, I need to take this project because I haven't got the money this month, or do you know what I mean? So it just gives
Yeah,
me that little bit of leeway to make that decision where I can turn around and say, well, actually, this project is probably not going to be the right fit for my company, but I can, you know, definitely refer you to somebody else that might be a better fit.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah,
I love
I
that.
try to,
Katerina always
yeah,
talks about standing up for your business, standing up for yourself, standing up for, you know, and we all understand the idea of like stand up for yourself and what's, you know, what's right. But
yeah,
when we go to business, sometimes, yeah, we get in that feel of desperation, and that's not, doesn't feel good. And
right,
it definitely puts you in that kind of that feeling of desperation also translate to our conversations with potential clients.
yeah,
And you know, it's not really the vibe we're looking to give out, is that we're desperate to,
Right.
you know, for whatever, right? We want to be aligned with those potential clients and have
Yeah.
them feel like, you know, feel the same, that we're aligned in that partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important, specifically because of the type of clients that I want to work with, which are the type of clients that I want to work with value what I do. You
Hmm.
know, they value the art piece because that is part of, you know, my website design and development. I also do brand design and logo development as well. That was such a needed piece. I would have constantly have clients come to me and go, I have a logo that was created on XYZ
Right.
platform.
Or or by some guy on Fiverr,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yes. And you know, I haven't got the appropriate files that I need. And, you know, so it kind of like spoke to me, the universe kind of spoke to me in in that sense and said, you know, you have this background and why don't you include that? So
I love that.
um and I love brand design and development because there's such a psychology behind it that most people don't really understand. And getting to do that with my clients is great when they get the aha moment, or you know, I present
Yeah.
something and they go, "Oh my goodness, absolutely!" You know,
Yeah.
so that's definitely a win-win for me.
I love that. I see so much, you know, I don't know if I've told you this, but I tell people this a lot, that I always thought that branding and graphic design was going to be my second career. So I'm like a
Oh,
nerd for everything that you do. But I'm not a trained professional, and but I do have an art background. So, you know, I always often see entrepreneurs out there with like really ineffective color combinations and things like that, and people don't understand, because they love it, because it's their
right.
favorite,
Yes.
that it's not coming across as a clear communication to their audience or their potential client, or, you know, whatever it is they're trying to get across. And it's always really kind of bums me out. It's like, oh, that could be so great if they could see that they need, you know,
Yeah.
a refresh or a do-over.
Yeah.
So I love that you do that. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, we do bootstrap it, especially in the beginning. We just go
Yeah.
with what feels right or what we like.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm constantly struggling with my own color palette for that exact reason, right? Like this is not right. Something's not right about it.
Yeah.
Like it's working okay, but it's not right. And so yeah,
Yeah.
my dream is to, you know, hire someone like you to take care of my stuff. And someday I'll have the bandwidth to actually like make that happen. Maybe that'll be when you know, my first kid heads off to college and I do my
There you
refresh
go.
next year.
There you
So,
go. Yeah.
so yeah,
That'd be
very,
wonderful.
very super valid. And I think that that's a really good point for our audience here in the Gather community, at this,
Right.
you know, group of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who've been in business for a long time, but still kind of on their own situation. They don't have staff per se, but maybe they have
Right.
some virtual team or whatever. You know, it's a great place to start in really having your brand be uh you know, grow to whatever it is that your vision
Yeah,
is.
because you know, brand design and all of that that goes into that is the foundation of any business, right? So
Yeah.
you'd have like personas, your ideal client,
Hmm.
um, all your branding should be focused around that
Yeah.
essentially.
Who are
And
you trying
then
to talk to?
yeah, yeah, which then determines your SEO strategy, then determines, you know, how you market yourself.
Yep.
So all of those pieces, the branding part is definitely the foundation.
It's that first point.
Yeah,
I think that, you know, and so early on when I first started coaching, I always struggled with that. You know, identify your ideal client, because, you know, a lot of us when we first start, it's like we want to help everybody. And
yeah,
it's not that you can't help everybody, but who are you talking to? And
right.
that's, I think that's what I always tell like folks who ask me about, you know, my journey. That's what I always tell them, is that until I figured out who I was talking to, my message was such a mess. It was
Right.
just all over the place. So I love that you're helping people with that because it's not my job to help them with that.
Right.
They ask, I'll talk about it, but that's just my journey. You're the expert to help them get
Yeah.
from where they are to where they want to go with that. So that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I love this. And let's see what there was one other thing I wanted to touch. So you were talking about the art and everything. We talked about the branding things. Okay, maybe that was the thing I was trying to tie back in there because it is um a very unique I just watched the Taken movies. It's a very unique set of
Oh.
skills, right? You have a unique set of
Yeah.
skills that you're bringing, right? It's really
Yeah.
it's not something that everyone can do. So I love that you're here with us in the Gather community and bringing your perspective and your experience to, to our stage, for lack of a better term. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited to see how this year is going to unfold. You're our first new creator to highlight this year. This will be broadcast towards the end of February. So if you're watching this at the end of February, early March, welcome to Samantha. And if you're watching it later in the year, you might already know her. So I'm really thrilled to have you with us. And is there anything
Thank
that you want
you.
to wrap up with? Do you have anything going on that you want to share, or just
Uh, sure. So I guess what makes me a little different than the rest of, web designers and developers is that I do the logo development myself. I do not outsource that. All of the little icons and things that are hand drawn on your website, they are done literally by me. And so, you do get like a whole custom
nice?
experience. So I am definitely different than most out there. So
I love
for that
that.
reason.
And do you have, I can't believe I haven't even looked at this on your website. Do you have like a gallery of different
I
projects
do.
that
I
you've done
have,
and stuff so
yeah,
people can ooh and
yeah,
ah over all of your amazingness?
yes, absolutely. So
Great.
then
Well,
you
I'll
just go
make
to my
sure.
website and stuff.
Awesome. Well, we know that that's going to be on your landing page here for the Gather community, but we'll
Yeah,
also put it here in the show notes, or in the show
great.
notes, like I'm a podcaster already. We'll put it in the notes on YouTube so that people can check that out, reach out to you. I'm
Great.
sure you have a contact thing on there and all
I
that.
do.
And I just want to say thanks again. I'm so thrilled to have you with us. I'm really grateful to be able to highlight you in this way. And let's tell the world about how important it is to have a clear, concise, beautiful brand, maybe from Nolan Creative.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me,
Yeah.
Tracy.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, honey.
Thank you.